Rise and shine, it's a brand new day. Ken and Ken take the stage, ready to play. Weekdays at 10, the cars on the scene. Coffee in hand, they're living the dream. Aggression in the voice, got the whole town awake. Bringing fire to the mic, make no mistake. Shows in the corner, spitting out facts. Dropping truth bombs, ain't holding back. Ken and Ken in the morning, feel the heat. From 10 a.m. CST, can take a seat. We live and loud, they're breaking the mold. Light up your speakers, crank up the sound. They're talking about life upside down. Opinions exploding like a sonic blast. In the studio, they're built to last. With passion and grit, they engage and ignite. Every single week, they're a force can't fight. From sports to politics,
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Ken and Ken in the Morning. And of course, I got Ken with me this morning. How are you doing this morning, Ken?
Oh, not too bad. We happened to get a little bit of breaking news right before the show.
And which breaking news was that? Was it different than the breaking news I might have seen?
Does your breaking news involve the Colts?
No, it does not.
Okay, well, mine does. They have a
good morning, Orlando. And interesting you're there for the first piece. I mean, yeah. And good morning, Matt. And now here comes Ken with some breaking news.
The Colts have decided to officially name Danny Dimes as their starting quarterback for the season. I mean, I personally kind of expected it because, well, we all know all the knocks against Richardson.
Wait, isn't Richardson hurt again anyway? So, I mean...
Well, he was playing with that mangled finger on his hand, but it's not like it made much of a difference.
Yay, Colts, for showing us what ineptitude really looks like. But I've got breaking news that's along the same lines as yours in a way, just not as surprising. I mean, if that wasn't surprising, this next one won't be. The Cleveland Browns have also announced their starting quarterback for the season, and it is, drum roll please, Joe Flacco.
Grandpa Joe. Now, what's your timetable on when he's not going to be the starting quarterback anymore? Because I'm thinking week 6, personally.
It depends. I mean, I'm going to give him longer than that. I think he'll make most of the season. I think at some point, if he comes out, it'll be less due to injury and more due to other guys progressing, depending on who they keep on that roster quarterback. It's a smart move by the Browns, and I would not count the Browns out of any of these early games with that defense. And Flacco is a good veteran quarterback. People forget he came off the couch. Literally, he retired, came off the couch, and took them to the playoffs. So, no, I wouldn't sleep on the Browns right now. They are a football team that in the first couple of weeks, all the guys on NFL Today and ESPN and Fox Sports go, oh my God, can you believe the Browns are winning? Yes, I can. Because they just need a competent quarterback who's not spastastic and going to throw 8,000 interceptions. And that's Joe Flacco.
Fucking spastastic. I'm going to have to use that one now.
Yeah, it's a good Gen X word. So, yes, I thought that would be the case weeks ago. That's great they finally announced it. Like, everyone knew that it was going to happen. But, I mean...
Well, there were a lot of people that were holding out hope that it was going to be Shador.
Shaduki. Look, I think...
Oh, my God. Hold on. Ken, not to interrupt you, but this is too great not to fucking do it. We have found out the exact reason why ESPN's fucking viewership has just been tanking. They had a guest on that came on wearing a blue and silver Barry Sanders jersey, and the host goes to him, oh, I see you're wearing the jersey in support for Shador Sanders' great first preseason game. And the guy just looks at her like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I give Flacco a few games, but that's it. It's just
I mean, he didn't look great with the Colts last year. I'll grant that. He looked really good with the Browns. Coaching makes all the difference in the world, man. Coaching and scheme. People forget how important coaching and scheme is on the field. I think the Browns with that, and look at the Browns have something that the Colts don't have, a phenomenal freaking defense. And one other thing, a guy named Garrett. Just saying. So I don't cut the Browns out, Luca. I'm telling you, do that at your own peril. They may even they may not win a lot of games early on, but they're going to be in every game, I think.
Okay, I thought you were about to say something about them winning the division, and I was going to have to ask you to pee in a cup for me.
But look at, I mean, honestly, they're not far from that division either, though. Their defense.
They might be a decent team, at least with a damn good defense, but I think they are leaps and bounds away from the Ravens and Steelers.
They're the inverse. They are the inverse of if you took both Ohio teams and combined them, oh my God, they're the inverse. You know what I'm saying? Like whereas Cincinnati has no defense but has a great offense, they have a phenomenal defense and an offense.
Just imagine.
If you're going to sit there and tell me Joe Flacco and that offense is going to win them a ton of games, you could say the same thing for Cleveland and the defense. They're the inverse of each other. So I think that defense trumps the day over offense. If you have a lockdown defense, you're going to win games. Your defense can score you points. Your offense isn't getting you fourth down goal line stops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
but how often do we see those type of defenses anymore?
The Browns kind of have one. I don't know if they're that good, but they're kind of in that.
I was going to say, I'm not willing to go out on that limb and call them that good.
They did quit multiple times. I don't blame them for quitting last year with the way the team went. But I think with Flacco at the helm and they're not giving up short fields. Remember, Flacco doesn't have to be brilliant. He has to be somewhat competent. He just has to not go 3 and out every freaking drive. He needs to not give short fields to the opposing offenses every time they're out there. You know, I mean, it's going to happen. It always happens, throughout games. But, that's a pretty cool new function. Hey, good morning.
You just realized that?
Yeah, where it popped up on the screen. I can just click that.
They started it at the end of last week.
Yeah. So, yeah, I look, he's got to just be somewhat confident in Cleveland. And the Browns are going to win some games that people are thinking that they're not going to win. Because right now people think the Browns aren't going to win any games. They are going to win football games. Now, look, Cleveland is not the only team in Ohio making news this morning. And some of this goes to what we were talking about yesterday. The other Ohio team, the Cincinnati Bungles, so Trey Hendrickson deal. So as I said before, they've agreed to the length of the contract and the amount of money. The holdup is still the guarantee. They don't want to give any guaranteed money past 25. Now, trade. The word on the street is it's a second rounder and a young player that they to kind of make up for the loss. Not a first rounder and a young player, but like a second rounder. So their asking prices kind of dropped a little bit. I don't know if that. I mean, I don't know why they're so steadfast on no guaranteed money past the season. Like, if you're going to sign for a 3 or 4 year deal, however long that deal is, make it like, I don't know, give a little. Like, okay, fine. You want 3 years guaranteed, we'll give you 1.5 years guaranteed. And if that's not too much, okay, then fine. Maybe I can understand more of the hardline stance, right? This is different than the rookies, the second rounders who want guaranteed. This is a guy who last year was the sack leader.
Not only that, in back-to-back years, he put up 17.5 sacks. So it's not like it's a flash in the pan.
Right. So I kind of agree a little bit with him. Like, hey, dude, a little bit more guaranteed than just 25. I get that. Now, look, we don't know what their finances are like in Cleveland completely. We know it's Spotrac and the other things tell us. But I think Cincy, if you're going to move on from him, I mean, look at – I hate to do this to Bears fans, but we could do a second rounder in Booker. I don't want to see that because I think Booker's got a huge future in Chicago. with the way he improved from his rookie year to this year. But that's kind of like what it would take. So, and a second round, fine. I don't care about the second rounder, but I care more about losing Booker. And I think that's where a lot of NFL team fan bases would be like, well, wait a minute. I don't want to give up this young guy because the potential for him to be great over the next 5, 7, 8 years is great. Unless you're a team that's like in the win it absolutely this, throw an all in phase. So like if you're, I don't know, the 49ers, maybe you try to do something like that. Right? If you're a team that thinks you're in that space, like maybe Seattle thinks they're in that space, maybe you're the Raiders, and you think you can compete now and win a division now with the talent you've got with Geno, and you make that a second rounder and some young defensive player, young linebacker, something like that. I don't know. Maybe that's what but if like you're Miami, who by the way might sign Judon today. Do you do it? No, because you're a train wreck right now. But
I was going to say, I think the 49ers are a train wreck, and I also think Seattle is like a half an inch away from being a train wreck.
The Prowers in a third for Hendrickson? Yes, like the Raiders would never. No. What would be response if Shedeur beats the Packers and the Bears?
And the Bears, yeah.
Late in the year.
Shocked. Well, I'm going to answer here and say it's going to involve a bottle of Captain 100.
Yeah. I mean,
Shaduki.
I mean, like their defense is good. So those games aren't going to be pushed over any of the teams in the North. If Sanders is in by that point of the year against these North teams and beats North teams, I mean, he'll be beating good defenses. So that'll be a feather in his cap for sure. Any given Sunday and all that, but I don't. Both Ohio teams have kind of some weird. They both have issues. Well, all the teams have issues, but I mean, I think the Browns are in a better position right now, believe it or not, than Cincinnati, because at least with the Browns, they've got a really good defense. They got a good, competent veteran quarterback to start with. If Shedeur Sanders ends up being the guy that some of the hype machine thought he was, or even half of that guy, he's going to be a competent NFL quarterback who's going to have some decent amount of success, right? So, I mean, and picking him in the 5th round is not a bad look for Cleveland, especially after getting the haul for the number 2 pick when everyone thought they would take him at. So they're okay. Cincinnati, they got to figure it out, man. Like do something with Hendrick. If you're going to trade Trey, they got to get a good young player, and a second round pick, and just hope that Burrow can put up 40 points a game. Yeah, but that can change between now and the end of camp, though, bro. I mean,
yeah, I see him going above Gabriel, and I have I'm not going to say no doubt. I would not be shocked in any way, shape, or form if he beats out Kenny Pickett.
See, that's the weird question with them. And okay, I still believe Beige won't play more snaps in the regular season than Caleb. Well, Philip, that just says that you're not that bright then, I guess. I don't know. I thought you were a bright guy, but now when you make comments like that. Look at Chicago, we have an interesting situation, right? Because we got like, oh my God, how many receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks are we keeping on the roster, right? Because there's some in Chicago say, well, God, we got to keep 3 quarterbacks this year, not just 2 like we normally do, right? What about Cleveland? Like, who makes that roster? Flacco's a starter. Okay, great. How many quarterbacks are they taking into the season? Is it Pickett? Is it Sanders? Is it, you know what I'm saying? They got 6 guys. Which 2, or is it going to be 3, do they take? Is it Flacco as a starter with, I don't know. I mean, you got 2 guys you drafted. You got a guy you signed in free agency that's, going to get a job somewhere if you release him. So what do the Browns do? Who are the 3 guys? Well, just to make the assumption that they're keeping 3 quarterbacks. At this point, that's the only assumption are they going to keep 4 on the 53? I don't think anyone's ever done that I can think of. I don't know. Who do you think, Joe? Who do you think are the three quarterbacks that Cleveland takes into the regular season?
Flacco, Pickett, and I'm gonna say Shador.
What about you, Ken?
I'm gonna go out on a wild limb here and say it's gonna be Flacco, Shador, and Gabriel.
See, that's both you guys make. It's either Gabriel or it's Pickett for me. Is the guy odd man out? I think Shador's got too much hype around and everything for them to cut him. Gabriel, you can kind of cut him, be like, oh well, and then people are like, but why'd you waste a third rounder? That's hard. If you cut Pickett, it's like you didn't lose anything, right? You just you spent some money to bring him to camp. I think Pickett might be the odd man out just for the fact that you didn't spend draft capital on him. And Pickett will get a job somewhere pretty quick.
But that's the thing is, I think Pickett might be better than Gabriel, though. Like from what I've been hearing, Gabriel's just terrible. Like he's just not working out. So that's why I said I think Pickett will end up staying on the roster.
If you could cut Gabriel and get him on the practice squad, then maybe that's a route you take. You can keep all four. I mean, that's got to be a consideration as well. But the hard part, they draft the Gabriel when the third round.
It was either third or fourth. I think it was the third. Yeah,
I think it was the third. So, if you cut Gabriel, can you imagine what that fan base is going to be like? Like, why the hell did you waste a third round pick on this guy to cut him? Luca thinks Pickens would get a practice squad at best if he were to be cut. Wow,
I could see it.
Philip, that's the debate about I don't know about the Packers if that's a debate with the Packers how many quarterbacks they're going to keep on their roster on the active. But for the Bears, I agree it's usually two, and I think it's Caleb and Bagent. But Case Keenum, a lot of guys think that they need to keep him on the roster because of the veteran presence, blah, 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 blah. I'm of the mindset you keep the two, and thank you for coming to camp, Case. But there is arguments being made to keep three. Is that the same in Green Bay there, Ken?
We're usually keep two, but there's an argument. Granted, it's a little bit of an outside argument to try to keep that Canadian quarterback there on the active roster because there's a major feeling that he could get poached if we try to stash him on the practice squad.
Yeah, it's the same with the Bears. Like Austin Reed can kind of go to the practice squad again, and they can get away with it.
Yeah, the big red dog, he's pretty much out in Green Bay. He's there to be an arm because the only thing I've seen him do that's even slightly competent was run a touchdown, and you're a quarterback. I could care less what the hell you do running.
See, I agree with this. This is like I'm saying, Gabriel's a third-round pick. I mean,
that's why I'm giving him the edge over Pickett.
Same. I mean, and Joe, it's not that I disagree with that Pickett may be better than Gabriel even. It's just that, dude, they're not going to cut their third-round pick. If any of their draft pick quarterbacks were to get cut, it'd be the fifth rounder, Shador. But I think that Shador might have a little something. So,
yeah, and I think Shador has showed more. I think Shador has showed more potential than Gabriel is. All I'm saying.
Yeah, it's just hard to. It's hard to cut your third round pick, though. I mean, I'm not saying they can't,
but I think that if they cut Gabriel but keep Shador, it kind of softens that blow because it's like, well, we went out and drafted two quarterbacks. They both weren't going to be good. You know, we don't know. Like, it's like Gabriel. No, when I say they both weren't going to be good, it's like, you know, hitting two good quarterbacks in a draft is like nobody does that. You know what I mean?
And look, just because you stash a guy in your practice squad doesn't mean he's yours.
Because he can be taken at any fucking minute.
Yeah. So,
I think Gabriel might stay. I think Gabriel, like, if he goes on the practice squad, I don't know. Unless there's like a really needy team, I don't think they're going to poach him. He seems
So
like he seems like a developmental prospect. You know, like he's gonna
who has the need of a backup quarterback right now that we can think of?
I don't know if you can call him a backup yet. Like, I think he's like a guy that he's a third round player.
For this year, he is though.
Yeah.
I mean, see, that's the thing though too. Like, I would think they'd want to keep Gabriel and Sanders because, like you said, they're not career backups. They're not what Mitch Trubisky is now, right? They're not in that phase. They're in that I could be the franchise soon phase. Which one of these guys is going to be it? I think they'd like to keep both those guys on the roster behind Flacco. Flacco is the disposable guy who at the end of the year they can say enjoy retirement. And those two guys are the future. Pickett, I don't know, is he the future for anyone right now? I mean, if Shador is the odd man out, though, being a fifth rounder, it'll raise some eyebrows, yes. But the pitchforks and torches aren't going to come out in Cleveland.
But I'll bet you Shador gets picked up immediately.
Yeah, he would. I think he would.
But just based off that one preseason game, people are going to be like, you know, he showed a little something there. Like, there might be something there.
Week 3 of the preseason is going to tell us a lot, possibly if they play. And that's why I wish we went back to 4 preseason games, because you had time for a minor injury in game 1 to come back for game 4. You know, this is where that 4th preseason game would have been instrumental for coaching, for coaches to see players. They're going to be, you know, it's funny because quarterback is, you know, it's weird for such a position of importance. The fact that we only keep 2 on the roster in most cases is somewhat shocking.
But you also hear around the league, that's kind of why you're hearing them talk about increasing the active roster limit and having that special third emergency quarterback not count against your active roster.
Yeah. I mean, in the perfect world, the Bears would keep all 3, plus they stash Reed on the practice squad. You know, if they could do it. But right now, if I keep a third quarterback, I'm taking away from another position group. If I keep and the problem for the Bears right now, it's a nice problem to have as a Bears fan. The running back room and the wide receiving room are so talented overall. It's going to be hard on cut day. It's going to be hard. There's going to be a good running back and a couple good receivers that the Bears are going to release that are going to get snatched up right away by someone. Where you like to keep maybe a fifth, go to a fifth or keep a fifth running back or keep a fifth receiver this year. They might do that, maybe only carry 2 tight ends. They may only carry 2 tight ends and not carry 3 like they normally do. I could see that. I could see them keeping Kmet and Loveland and not carrying another tight end. I could see that. That would give you an extra receiver or an extra running back. The problem is you don't want to cut from the trenches. You don't want to take a slot from the cornerbacks or the safeties.
Not only that is you got to factor in the guys that are going to help on special teams too. That's where you see a lot of those numbers really come into play.
They do have a developmental league though, isn't there? It's called the CFL. Honestly, the CFL and the UFL.
How many guys have actually come from the CFL to do something besides a handful?
I would say just a couple, and there's like a couple guys come from whatever we're calling the spring football league. Was it UFL now?
I think that's got a better chance of being called the developmental league because I think you've already seen more guys come from the UFL than you have the CFL, at least in recent years.
No, you just hear about it now because it's such a new novelty. But there are guys every year that come from the CFL. It's just they're the 50th guy on the roster usually. But they are making rosters. There are some guys, but they kind of do have a developmental league in that regard.
Yeah, well, let's not forget Doug Flutie. All right.
That's why I said recently in a handful.
Yeah, I know. Let's just throw his name out there because he doesn't get talked about much. But Doug Flutie was a serviceable NFL quarterback when he came from the CFL.
Luka,
He was
that
more
would
than
be
serviceable at times.
Wasn't
Luka, that
he
would
only
be
like 5'8", 5'10", something like that?
Mhm.
yeah. He's short.
And
Hey,
he,
Luke.
dude, Doug Flutie had his moments, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Luka, that's not crazy. Poles did that with Fields and Bajan. Look at some of these undrafted rookies. If you notice, there's a trend over the last 4 years or so, maybe 5. There's a lot of undrafted free agent rookies that are making rosters because there are so many good, talented football players that play these D2 and smaller D1 schools that scouts just don't see. And then these guys come do workouts and they go to camps and they make rosters. I mean, yeah, Tommy Maddox came from the XFL. There we go. Every roster has at least 2 or 3 guys who are undrafted free agent rookies now. So, Luka, if KOC does that, if they go with JJ and then like a undrafted rookie backup, yeah, I guess some might call him crazy, but I wouldn't. I'd be like, dude, it makes sense.
I get it, and all,
first.
but with the talent that Sam Howell has, I think KOC could turn him into a real quarterback. Because we've seen it. Granted, he has had a lot of dumbass plays too, but he's had a decent amount of wow plays. And you think out of the coaches in the league, if anybody's going to get it out of him, it'd be him.
Well, and you could probably keep Howell and cut that undrafted free agent rookie and put him on the practice squad and hope no one notices. You might be able to do that. You could. That's a possibility too. But the thing about practice squads are, man, they're not protected. Like they can get ganked at any moment by any team. So putting a guy in your practice squad doesn't mean you're protecting him for the future. I mean, for him, it's great. He's got a contract. He's making money, but he's not yours. Any team can come and poach him at any time. That's a weird thing about the practice squad, isn't it? You're under contract with a franchise, but then another team can come and sign you to their 53 at any point in time. So, hey, I'm the Bears, and I'm looking at Green Bay's practice squad, and we play Green Bay next week. And, I just happen to have one of my corners get hurt, and I have a spot that I need to fill in the 53. I'm just going to poach a guy off your practice squad, pump him for information, let him play in a game or two, and then cut him.
We've seen it a few times in the league.
Yeah. It's just
see now that would make some sense there if that's what it is that the kid doesn't have it between the ears.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is going to be a fun week, guys. This is the last week of camp. This is the last week of camp, and when's cut day? Is that Monday? Next Monday?
Monday or Tuesday? Hold on, I'll look it up too.
I mean, the market's going to get flooded. And here we are, the last week of camp. Trey Hendrickson still not under contract. Scary Terry still not under contract. Micah Parsons still not under contract. And you've got about 30 or 40 guys per team that are about to get cut.
It's next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern.
That's going to be massive.
Man, this could just be me being fucking nostalgic here. But didn't you like it a little better when the cuts were staggered a bit?
Yes. I think they got rid of it because when they switched from 4 preseason to 3 preseason, the cuts didn't. It was kind of under the 4 preseason. The cut downs were actually kind of good the way that they measured out.
And then it would make Hard Knocks interesting to where instead of just having one episode where dudes are getting come see me in my office and bring your playbook, it would be you'd have like 3 weeks of it.
Yeah.
And it'd be one of the guys that you absolutely love during Hard Knocks. That I hope he really makes the team, and all of a sudden he's getting the call to the office.
Well, it was funny because for the Bears last year at Hard Knocks, there were 2 guys like that, but they didn't get cut. They just got injured instead, and that's Wheeler. Wheeler had a really good look. Wheeler's had a really good preseason. Like he is not. He is showing like last year. Bears fans were like all over Wheeler at running back. Like and if he didn't get hurt, he probably would have been the fourth guy, and Vilius Jones would have been cut. Right? That's what Bears fans were feeling last year. Now he's like, ooh, he might be the reason we carry 5, right, at running back, or even 6 at running back. Because remember, one of our other running backs is probably a return guy who we signed in free agency. He's really good at it. So it's like, ooh, okay. So he's the other one. And the other one's the Canadian Eagle, Theo Bennett, who inserted himself into that left tackle competition and has played really good ball. So those are 2 guys last year who injury kind of saved their career in a weird way because they might have gotten cut last year. But now after a year of being around the team and rehab and everything else that goes along with being around the team while you're hurt, came back to camp this year and have really played good football. So both those guys were fan favorites who you didn't get to watch do the walk of shame to the GM's office to get cut. Right? You watched them, and then when they got cut, they was like, well, you're not getting cut. Like, we're going to place you in the IR for the year because of your injury and keep you under contract. So that was kind of a cool story with Hard Knocks last year for the Bears. But, yeah, it was much better back in the day when the second episode of Hard Knocks, the guys going to the coach with the playbook.
Oh, my God. And I don't remember because this was so fucking long ago. And before I say that, I am teaching Eric's the way of the dark side.
I'm sorry.
But no, I don't remember who it was because it was so long ago. But I think it might have been the first time the Cowboys were on Hard Knocks. They literally had a guy that his whole job was to be the one that brought these guys into the office about him. That was literally his only job on the team of, hey, shit.
Damn it!
Everybody needs an axe man.
But they're look at cut days. Gonna be interesting next Tuesday. So Wednesday's show should be interesting to see because the guys will get signed right away, and there will be some surprising cuts. There is every year. And the thing with think about the Bears have like 90 guys at camp, right? You're cutting almost 40 guys next Tuesday. 40 guys by 32 teams about. A lot of guys, and GMs have to sift through that. And by the way, then they're doing their practice squad within 24 hours. These guys are trying to get their 10-guy practice squad done, right? So you're going to cut 40, and there might be 10 that you really want to re-sign to your practice squad. And it's nope, some other team's going to gank them. So now you have to go gank someone from someone else's. Dude, I'll tell you what, the scouts, your scouts for your team are in overdrive right now, trying to identify players that if they get cut, they want for the practice squad. I mean, what a daunting task it is for these guys and these GMs. And we don't think about that enough.
Well, also there's there's going to be guys that get cut that are going to make 53s too. Or like they're going to, they're going to end up getting cut and it's going to be somebody that like you don't expect where you're like, oh, that guy got cut. And then like another team will cut one of those fringe guys that barely made the 53 so that they can put that guy on their roster.
Yep.
And Eric, since it's Ian Rappaport that is the one coming out with these rumors and stating it, I say you got more of a likely chance. I'm not going to say it's great, but I will say we probably got like a 40% chance of landing them. Better than the single digits that we usually have.
The problem here's a quantify lots, John.
Well, not a shit ton, but I'd assume we're going to see somewhere
one
like
or 2, maybe.
I'd put it around like 5.
Maybe. I mean, maybe I would say, yeah, that could be right because you got Trey, you got Micah, and you've got Scary Terry. That could be 3 right there.
And we've already seen this offseason, teams aren't afraid to wheel and deal.
I'm wondering if the North will be involved in any, because if you look at the 3 players available, Green Bay could use all 3 of them. Not getting all 3, but could use all 3 of them. If you had to say, okay, in the NFC North, those 3 guys, right? Well, the Packers could use Scary Terry more than the other 3 teams, and defensively, I think like the Bears would be out on Hendrickson. I think the Lions would be out on Hendrickson possibly because they don't want to give up the player, whereas the Packers might be more likely to. And same, I think, goes for Micah. I think the asking price for those three teams, they don't want to give up they don't care about the draft capital as much as they would the player they would have to give up.
We all know how much I like Quay Walker as a linebacker for Green Bay. But if you tell me that that's what hinges on the Micah Parsons deal happening, I'm pushing him out the fucking door.
Yeah, Eric, I'm not saying you need to have all three of them. I think
You just said they're an option.
Yeah, all three of those guys are guys that if you picked up any one of them, you're fine how we are. Okay, so you don't want Micah Parsons. You don't want Scary Terry. You need to teach your Padawan a little bit better. I'm gonna start calling the Padawan. Cam Hayward, yeah.
If I was the Packers, I'm going all in, and I'm trying to get Scary Terry and Micah Parsons. I'm calling up Washington, and I'm like, hey, dude, how about I'll give you like a third and Dobbs. You know what I mean? Like throw Dobbs out there, and you know.
Yeah, I'd even give him a fucking second in Dobbs.
Yeah, but the problem is that Micah Parsons trade is going to be expensive, so you ain't going to have very many seconds.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. The Packers have $31 million in cap space. If they were to trade Rashawn Gary, they would. I don't know how that works on the money because right now, well, let me go to trade pre-June 1st. Okay, if they free up $20 million and take $25 million dead, or no, they take $25 million dead cap. But see, when they work the trades, that never works out that way. So I'm not even going to bother with that. Let's just Rashawn Gary. There's a $25 million cap number.
Trading Rashawn Gary to involve in that with getting Parsons, I think, is a non-starter because the whole point is pairing them together. Now, if you want to trade Van Ness,
Quay Walker is like dirt cheap. It works that way because he's dirt cheap. Who was the other guy you wanted you marked in there?
Van Ness. And he's going to be dirt cheap because he's still on his rookie deal.
Yeah, he's dirt cheap. And then, of course, you could go with Musgrave is dirt cheap. He could be the guy.
I really wouldn't want to give up Musgrave. But again, if the trade hinged on that one thing,
Dobbs
all right.
Cheap. Dobbs is only $3.5 million.
I was gonna say I trade Dobbs for a bag of chips right now.
So, I mean, they have the more importantly they have the money now. Just for sake of argument, let me go to. We already know the Raiders have like $100 million, right? They got. Well, let me just verify that Raiders number. They've got more money than God. The Raiders have. Oh, I'm sorry, $34 million. So they could make something work.
Next year they have $100 million.
Yeah, next year they have $100 million. The Bears have 13 mil right now. Now depending on who you traded, what player you traded, like I don't know, maybe you could get Dallas to take Dio, who we just signed. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, hey, I get being all excited for Matthew Golden because believe me, so am I. But think of Matthew Golden paired with fucking Scary Terry.
There's some teams that might argue with that, Luca.
Scary Terry is exactly.
I don't know why you're fine with they have a pass rush. I don't know why Green Bay thinks, we're fine a pass rusher because your pass rush last year was almost as pathetic as the Bears. So you should be looking for better.
I think the Packers absolutely. I think Scary Terry is exactly what the Packers need. Like they need a veteran receiver that has proven numbers year after year, who's got reliable hands, especially reliable hands.
Yeah, that's kind of my fucking point of it.
Yeah.
That's why I said I'd be willing to even give up a fucking second for him.
I don't think there's a receiver on their roster other than Golden just because he's a rookie. I don't think there's a receiver on their roster that they wouldn't trade for Scary Terry. Like, you want Watson? Take him. Like,
now look at for Dallas,
maybe not Reed.
Yeah, maybe not.
Like with Parsons, like if I'm the Bears, what I want to trade for Micah Parsons? Okay, maybe I'll give you a first rounder and you want a player. Like I look at a guy like Kieran Agamije at left tackle after the camp he's had, and they need line help in Dallas. That's actually something that could be possible. It doesn't have to be some of these other guys we're talking about, or thinking about. I mean, like for the Bears, there are some guys who I definitely don't want these young guys. There are a couple I don't want them to trade. Like, Booker. I don't want Booker traded. I think Booker, God, he's shown out, but they're going to want him. But like, hey, you need offensive line help. I could send you the Canadian Eagle, or I could send you Kieran. Like, and they're both showing like they've both had a good camp where they're actually competing for that left tackle job. Like, it might be a player like that. So even for the Packers, it could be one of those guys. Like, you got this guy who's one of the guys who's not going to be the starter, but is close at tackle or guard, and then you go line help.
I really thought I'd never say this, but with the way Jordan Morgan has been looking at left tackle so far in the preseason, if it was Rasheed Walker we had to give up, I wouldn't bitch too much.
Like, I think the Bears are the least likely of the four in the division to make a move like that just because of the money, right? But, I mean, you could – I could see the Packers I think are the most you need pass rush. If the price was right, I could see them the making the move and getting rid of Walker or something like that. Look at if you can get Micah Parsons, it's worth it. If you can get Trey Hendrickson, it's worth it. Especially if you think you can win. It's to win the division and go to the Super Bowl. If you think you're there, it's worth it. Trade Braxton. Damn it.
I think if the Packers were to go out and if they were to make the trade for Parsons and they were to go get Scary Terry, I think they're immediate Super Bowl contenders. Like, absolutely.
Like,
I think they have a real shot at
Jordan Morgan is such a quagmire at left tackle because you see him constantly getting knocked back, but nobody's getting fucking by him. It's so weird to see a left tackle play like that. But hey, it's fucking working.
Though, left tackle. It was funny because when they're talking to Ryan Poles during the game on Friday night, he's like, it's not like left tackle. He said basically something to the effect, it's not like left tackles grow on trees. They're very hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears have 3, possibly 4 guys right now who could be starters or at least very good backups, right? 2 guys maybe are starters right now. So anywhere, 2 guys are close to being starters, maybe. They've got that's trade capital right there. That's huge trade capital in this league. And the Packers, if you have that going on there now too, see, the mindset we think of when we're talking, well, if you're going to trade for Trey or Micah, you got to trade defensive player. Dude, if you've got a left tackle sitting there that you have available to trade, especially if it's a guy who can play left or right tackle, and that team has a need at tackle, and I think Washington might have a need at tackle. I think all 3 teams could use a tackle. Dude, that's saying something. If you could give Joe Burrow a better protection, because some people look at his line is not great. If you could offer them something that protects Burrow even further, it might not have to be a defensive player for Trey Hendrickson. If you could offer something that's going to give Dak more protection, you might have to offer up a defensive player to get Micah. So you could leave your defense intact and trade off some of the depth you have on the offensive line. It makes the scenarios that much more interesting. Zach Tom's the guy, man. They should never trade him.
Oh God, no way in hell.
The Packers are not solid on pass rushers, Dorn. Not even close.
They massively changed the coach there, and like you said, coaching does matter.
It does, but talent matters a lot too.
I was going to say that there's a lot of talent there. It's just hasn't been actualized yet. But on that note, I'm still taking Micah Parsons over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Over just about everybody on that defensive line.
Okay, buddy. We'll see. We'll see in the season. The Bears did more to improve their D line than the Packers did in the offseason. Garrett was a big upgrade in the middle. I think all 4 teams in the division would be better with either Parsons or Trey Hendrickson on their lines. I think the Packers, though, are in a better position to make it happen than, say, the Bears or maybe the Vikings. And maybe even the Lions. The Lions, we can't forget them. They could, trade Anzalone. But then you trade a guy who's old in the tooth, too, though. I don't know, but that would free up another one of their issues. Would you make the trade for Brian Robinson Jr.? Because there are reports watching they are trying to sell him. I don't think. Once again, that's something that's more intriguing, I think, for the Packers than it is for the Lions. Well, here's why, Ken, because you got that look. Brian Robinson Jr. would be a phenomenal backup at running back for you in a package.
We've got a log jam at running backs right now behind Josh Jacobs there, to where they're already fighting hard for a roster spot, and it's hard wanting to add another body into that.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to ask the question: is Brian Robinson Jr. better than any of the backups in the North? Well, we can just forget about Detroit. Forget about them. With the Bears, could he be better than Rojo, Monangai, or Wheeler? Maybe. For the Vikings, the backup they just signed, probably not. And for the Packers, probably the same answer as the Bears.
Yeah,
so
at best it's a maybe, but even then, I think that's.
I think for both teams, it's a maybe with him in the deal. But I don't think the Bears are in that discussion because they're not looking to get Scary Terry. I think their wide receiving room, that's what I'm saying. The only team in the North who would be looking at Scary Terry would be the Packers.
We'll take Scary Terry and we'll offer them an extra draft pick to keep Brian Robinson Jr.
Yeah, so I think that would be, Damien, I think that would be possibly more of a deal breaker for the Packers now as we talk it out than it would be a plus.
Mm-hmm.
But defensively, with the two guys that are out there, and the Raiders have money and cap and some guys the Raiders could trade for two of the three and be okay too. I could see that happening. There's some, they're crazy enough in Vegas right now that, and look, I say they're crazy enough in Vegas, but they're also not far off either. Let's say they could land Micah, and now you have Micah on that defense, and then they can get Scary Terry on that offense. If they could get both of them, they went from teams, everyone going, oh my God, yeah, they're the automatic last place team. They could win the division like that.
But I don't think they would do the Micah trade because 2 first-round picks is just a little bit rich.
I'm glad they hand over two first-round picks happily.
Yeah, I know, but see, there's a difference there. You have your quarterback situation settled, whereas the Raiders have Geno on a 3-year deal, and we have to find our quarterback of the future. So giving up the next 2 years first-round picks, I don't think it's something the Raiders would want to do.
AOC is like her district going away.
I don't think he's going to be on the roster very much longer. He might be one of the cuts. Unfortunately, he's had a bad preseason, and he hasn't really taken a step forward this season so far that they would like to see.
So, are you saying he's going to have to bartend this year?
No, I think there will be a team. I think there will be a team that will,
You got it, Ken.
He'll get a backup or something. He'll get a backup job somewhere, I think. But I don't.
Trey Hendrickson makes more sense for them in that direction. If you can get Trey and Scary Terry, let's say you give up a first-rounder next year's for Scary Terry and a 3rd-round pick, cool. And you give up a 2nd-rounder and a player, cool. If it's now you've only got your 1st-round pick this year or next year, or no, you don't have that. You maybe have your 2nd round or something. No, you wouldn't have anything in the first 3 rounds. I don't think they'd want to do that. But, hey, if it made you an instant contender.
I was going to say, if I'm the Raiders, I'd seriously think about it, especially if it's only 1 year of picks.
If it was 1 year of picks, like the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, I could see, that would be something they'd probably entertain because they still have another year to try to, draft a quarterback.
And look, there's something else that we haven't considered yet because we're looking at teams that could possibly be contenders, right? Who might make these trades. dude, there's gonna be a team out there like the Dolphins, who are just, or as we're watching them fall apart in front of our eyes, but their ownership thinks we got this, man. They're like that drunk guy who thinks they can, do this amazing feat when they're drunk and everyone knows they can't, and they're just waiting for the train wreck to capture on a video.
It's like the drunk guy that thinks he can kick everybody's ass because he sees red.
Right, and the Dolphins could be that team when it comes to these trades, and they could just like set themselves up back like 3 or 4 more years by trading for these guys and going absolutely nowhere. But there could be some good. There's gonna be a lot of movement in the next week and a half for sure. Obviously, in the next week and a half, because we're gonna get cut day. But then we got these 3 guys who are holding out or holding in still. It'll be interesting to see what happens with them. I think Trey Hendrickson's the least likely to get traded because I think they'll come to something. If the only holdup is a guarantee, I think they'll get to something. But Parsons and Scary Terry, those 2 contracts sound like they're way, way off. With Parsons, it sounds like he's filing for divorce in court already.
I hope, beg, and pray.
Yeah.
I think Justin May, the rapper,
I don't care about the last 3
years.
years. Well, Dorn likes to bring this up like almost every show. Like, Dorn, I could give 2 shits. You haven't figured that out yet? I don't care about last year's record because last year is done and over. We're talking about this year coming in. What your team did last year means nothing. It's worth about the same as a bag of shit on your front door. It's on fire. 0. Except you got to clean up the mess after you stop.
I was going to say, depending on the person, that might be worth something to them. There's some pretty weird people out there.
Records, and you're talking, you got regime changes with teams, new coaching, player movement. Man, I love it when guys go, but last year you guys only did this. And this isn't last year. This is a completely different team than last year. And that's true for most teams, even the Packers. This is a different Packer team than they had last year. Are they more intact than maybe some of the other teams were from last year this year? Yeah, but they still made some key moves or lost some key people. There was still movement. Stuff happened. This is not the same teams we saw last year. You just got to take that, hit Control-Alt-Delete, and go move forward from what you've seen today on. Like, I don't care what they did the last 3 years under different head coaches with different player personnel and all that good stuff. It doesn't matter. Let's see. Bears should play all 3 tackles against Minnesota Monday Night Football in front. Okay. Sure, Luca.
Glad to entertain, buddy.
I mean, some of these takes, like, I love Dorn and all, but Dorn, come on, dude. Like, we don't care about the last 3 seasons anymore. I don't even care about last season anymore. Last season's gone. It's ancient news. It's history. Stop living the past. I know it's hard.
You don't even care about next week anymore.
I don't even care about last week anymore. We're moving forward, dude. Keep living in the past.
Oh,
Caleb looked good in his preseason debut. Let's hope that carries over. The good takeaway from the Bears was with their ones is fundamentally they were pretty sound. They played some sharp ball. They looked good. The question is, can you keep that going into the regular season? This will be a fun season, guys. I can't wait. And now we got a couple big question marks on the board that still need to be answered that we've been talking about. And you know what? To be honest, what's kind of you haven't heard much out of Minnesota camp on JJ nationally. You haven't heard much out of Packer camp. You haven't heard much out of Lions camp. Those things kind of scare me a little bit. I hate when you're not getting news out of these teams, right? I am sure I am looking forward to this season. Young Padawan. The young Padawans.
All the way till about week 7.
Yeah, we'll see where if the wheels fall off like last year. Last year, we started 4-2, and then the wheels fell off.
I was going to say that's why I said week 7.
Yeah, we got to buy week 5, so it'll be a little bit different this year, Ken. But
okay, week 8. I'm sorry.
Then Eric's season is going to be over by week 5 because he's going for the Giants.
Yeah.
Week 4. Come on, you're giving him a little too much credit here.
See, that's Isaac. You see what I'm saying? Like, it makes sense if they're going to trade. If Trey Henderson does get traded, I could see that. I could see it. Young offensive lineman going back to them in that trade. So right now, if you're Green Bay or Chicago, huh, you actually have some stock you could trade. You have some stock you could trade. So Trey Henderson to Chicago or Green Bay actually now makes a little more sense than it did 2 weeks ago.
Shit, I'll trade you a Sean Ryan for Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, let's see if
It's
anything
not a
gets
thing.
done. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I was just reading Luca's comment. I didn't understand what he means by "it's not a thing" that he's trash. I bet the Raiders do better than the Giants. That's all I gotta say.
I wouldn't be shocked if they finish around the same. Because
Well,
I think the Raiders have more upside than the. Look at the Giants probably have the better defensive front four than the Raiders do, but the Raiders have Max Crosby. So the Raiders have a better head coach. The Raiders have quarterback's probably a wash. They definitely have the better tight end, but then again, the Giants have Malik Neighbors.
I don't think quarterback is a wash. I don't think Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston is as good as Geno Smith.
I don't think they're too far apart.
I
would still put Geno above, but we're talking a step.
Yeah, go back and look at Geno's last 3 seasons. Look at it. Look at his rankings.
The Raiders are better than the Giants. I'll say this unequivocally: the Raiders are a better football team than the Giants. The Giants, though, young Padawan, so you don't feel all heartbroken that I'm dissing your team in that regard, will make some noise in the NFC East because I think the Cowboys are they're going to live up to the ratings, the rating system symbol they wear on the side of their heads. I think Washington overachieved, and there's some room for them to move there. But the Eagles are the class of that division. The Giants don't have a shot in hell at them.
The
other 2 teams, they can make it interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles don't repeat as NFC champs.
Well, I'm not saying that I wouldn't be surprised at that either. But I mean, division though, I think they'll win their division.
NFC East champs. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. I think they'll win their division. I think Washington so overachieved last year. If Scary Terry's not playing, that dramatically changes them and their quarterback. Look at the biggest thing about Eric's team is they sucked last year, and because they looked somewhat devoid of quarterback play, devoid of offense. But I think they got better there. You may not like Russ, but Russ makes them better. And they have a good defense. They're going to make some noise.
Russ being better than Daniel Jones is, again, one step above. I mean, the Giants could trade Neighbors to Green Bay. I wouldn't cry over that one.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Hey, man, I can dream, can I?
I mean, the Raiders are definitely better than the Giants, the Virginas. I mean, the Giants. I mean, big pink. I mean, big blue. They are better. And they got Max Crosby. So Dart's been looking really good.
Oh,
yeah.
Dart's been actually looking real damn good. Like,
unlike the Raiders, they have more upside because of Jackson Dart.
I was going to say there's a lot of talk that he might not end up sitting this full season.
Like, Joe, that's
I said that they would win more games than they would with Russ or with Jameis.
Like Joe, I think that's one thing where the Giants have you. They have better upside for the future at quarterback than the Raiders do right now.
Yeah, I'm not going to take that away from them.
That'd be fair to say. So,
yeah.
All right, guys, we got another day of camp today. Let's see how many guys get. Let's see what happens. Maybe get some trades coming soon, some signings. I don't know, but we got some big question marks out there. It's been a fun show as always. It's Tuesday night. Don't forget tonight for Over the Top Productions open night. Mike, JB, and I will both be there. And we've got the afternoon show at noon today, and that's about it for our Tuesday normalities between us. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, and tomorrow being Wednesday is a full slate with Ken and Ken, the MMA show, Hallis Hall, and JB's Roundtable. So we'll see you all tomorrow. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.